Well, this can be episode 2 of State of the Earthship. And I want to talk about what we call the unarguables. They're really, we have to go there to be able to distill the world before us, because it is way too complicated and way too biased and way too rigidized with dogma. So I'm thinking the way to get to the unarguables is to break things down and then start looking for answers. To start looking for answers in our present ridiculous crisis almost situation is, it's not you can't find the answer. You have to step outside of all of that, and there's where the answers lie. You can't see them from inside our screaming crazy dogma. So what is an unarguable? An unarguable is like nobody argues about people needing water. That's an unarguable. Nobody really can argue about humans being somewhere around 80% water, and so I break humans down to sacks of water. We're nothing but sacks of water. Now you take the Palestinians and the Jews and break them all down into being sacks of water. You can't tell one from the other. They're all sacks of water. All the races, the men, the women, the LGBTQ, all of the various types of humans. Break them all down. They're all sacks of water. Maybe Tinkerbell has sprinkled a little soul on all of these sacks of water, and some more than others. But so I'm dealing with sacks of water. I don't see Russians. I don't see Jews. I don't see Ukrainians. I see sacks of water. And I see that these sacks of water need shelter, need refuge. And so I look at that. And I also see that you cannot put yourself on this planet and not be involved in all of the other people on the planet. If you're sitting there on $100 billion and 1 billion people are starving and homeless, you are an idiot. That's all I can say. That's not the type of thing that is going to make it so we're going to exist here much longer. It's all about every sack of water having what it needs to not freeze into a cube of ice. So it is unarguable. I don't think anybody can argue the fact that we are all sacks of water. And I don't think anybody can argue that the sun is capable of saving us or burning us. You go naked in the Sahara Desert for 5 days and the sun will kill you. You dig yourself a snow cave facing the sun in Canada and it'll save you. So you can't argue with the sun. You can't argue that the sun exists or doesn't exist. There are unarguables out there. And the whole Earthship concept is aimed at being built off of these unarguables. Now, I'll tell you another unarguable. You'll go online in terms of nutrition, and you'll find that tomatoes and the lycopene in tomatoes is very, very good for cancer. But you'll also find that it's not great for kidney disease. So there's lots of opinions out there on the internet in terms of everything. So you got to look for the unarguables. Now, there are foods out there that nobody argues with. For instance, garlic. Tablespoon of garlic a day. Rugged, very rugged. But a tablespoon of garlic a day, no one. I would challenge you to find something on the internet that says that's bad for anything. Garlic is an unarguable for nutritional health and for body care. Garlic is unarguable. Flaxseed is unarguable. Cabbage is unarguable. You don't find anybody saying cabbage is this good for this and not good for that. Cabbage is good for everything. So there are a whole list of foods out there that are unarguable. Yes, I'll eat tomatoes. I've got cancer. I want to eat tomatoes, but they have their problems on other things. So you have to weave through the arguable aspects of some foods, whereas other foods are just unarguable. So in the Earthship concept, we are going for the unarguable. That's why we have the 6 points. It is unarguable that people need to be comfortable and not freeze their sack of water. It is unarguable that people do need water. It is unarguable that people need electricity. It is unarguable that people need food. It is unarguable that people need to do something with their human waste. And it is unarguable that people need to do something with garbage. If the New York garbage company goes on, waste management company goes on strike or whatever, you have within a day or two, you have mountains of garbage on either side of the streets of New York. So we're looking at the 6 points that we call of sustenance on this planet as unarguable. And then we're looking to build a method of addressing that is also unarguable. And there are unarguables out there, and they are the closest thing that I can find to truth. The Democrats would say that they're speaking the truth. The Republicans will say that they're speaking truth. Palestinians will say that they're speaking the truth. The Jews will say that they're speaking the truth. This is not truth. Truth is broken down further and further. It is truth that we are all sacks of water. There's truth, pretty basic truth, but it's truth. And we're looking at finding that truth and simply presenting it. We don't want to convince people that they need water to drink. If they don't figure that out, then there's not much we can do to help them. But we're looking at reducing everything to unarguables and then taking those unarguables and building a world from them. You can't build a world even from democracy. We've seen it. You can't build a world from a dictatorship. You can't build a world from Christianity. You can't build a world from the Muslim thinking. These are all things that you can forage into and get what you can get out of. I wouldn't say that any of them are taboo or anything like that. But if you're going to build a world for all sacks of water, then you have to deal with unarguables. You can't be wasting your time arguing. I mean, have you ever tried to argue with a chicken? A chicken stands there and looks at you. It's standing in its water pan. It's drinking water from its water pan while it's shitting in its water pan. This is the way you relate to a chicken. Are you going to really try to convince a chicken to not shit in its water pan or whatever? You don't argue with a chicken. And on the unarguables, you do not have to argue, period. The unarguables are what we're trying to find and present in a building that will spread like a virus and take care of the issues at hand on this planet as they relate to humanity being able to exist on this planet. It's got to go down to something as basic as the unarguables and something like 8 billion sacks of water on this planet. And where do we go from here? Thanks.